Before the Boruto timeskip, Boruto mentioned that he has better control over his karma seal and he was able to use the power of his karma for just a few moments, before Momoshiki took over control whenever Boruto ran out of chakra. So taking that into consideration, the obvious progression of the story would have been that Team Boruto in the timeskip now has perfect control over his karma seal, just like Kawaki. But the latest chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex has revealed to us that Boruto hasn't been using his karma seal because Momoshiki would take over and gain control of Boruto. This was after Boruto's karma seal resonated with Kawaki's, and Kashin Koji had to remind him to get some distance between the two of them to avoid losing control. This is a major development because it answers questions like why haven't we seen Momoshiki in the timeskip, and why we haven't seen Boruto activate his karma since the start of the timeskip. It isn't just about Boruto choosing to rely on the traditional shinobi powers, but it is also to avoid the very possible threat of Momoshiki. The reason Boruto has even less control over his karma might be due to the fact that Boruto and Momoshiki's thoughts have been overlapping, and the separation between their consciousness has been weakening the more time goes on. The resonance of Boruto and Kawaki's karma seal has always had negative effects on both Boruto and Kawaki's karma seal. This might cause the overlapping of Boruto and Momoshiki's thoughts to become even stronger, making it easier for Momoshiki to gain control of Boruto. Whenever the karmas resonated, it resulted in the acceleration of Momoshiki's data getting extracted and increasing Momoshiki's power and control over Boruto. We saw this when Team 7 was on a mission to rescue Naruto, and they had to fight Boro, one of the Kara Inners. Kawaki was using his karma seal which resonated with Boruto's, and it amplified their combined power to give them a tactical advantage against Boro, especially when dealing with his near-perfect regeneration ability. Due to both of the karma resonating so much during that fight, Momoshiki took over control of Boruto's body just as Boro was about to finish off his vessel. That is when BoruShiki made his introduction and we saw him defeat Boro within moments. BoruShiki destroyed Boro with one giant Rasengan, a jutsu that Boruto wasn't able to use due to not having enough chakra reserves. The second time that Momoshiki took over control of Boruto was when Boruto had run out of chakra because of the fight with Ishiki. Sasuke lost his Rinnegan when Momoshiki came out of nowhere and stabbed it with a kunai blade. Kawaki had to burn himself alive just to force Momoshiki to absorb the flames and restore Boruto's chakra reserves, so that Boruto can wake up and silence Momoshiki's consciousness. Boruto had to break Momoshiki's horn after a struggle for control, and that is when Boruto gained control over himself again. Then we get to the time that Code decided to pursue Kawaki, when Kawaki purposely went out of the village to get Code to come to him, with the intention of negotiating with Code and asking him to forget about getting his revenge on the 7th Hokage, in exchange for Kawaki surrendering himself. Code wasn't interested in negotiating and wanted to take Kawaki with him regardless. Boruto had to rescue Kawaki and use his karma seal to fight Code, which resulted in Boruto running out of chakra. Momoshiki took over control of Boruto again and started spamming Rasengans trying to attack Code. Naruto and Shikamaru managed to get to the scene and it was complete chaos, with BoruShiki almost taking out Naruto with a giant Rasengan. But Kawaki was able to reawaken his karma seal and absorb the attack to save Naruto. Amado had secretly restored Kawaki's lost karma seal without Kawaki's knowledge. If it wasn't for Kawaki, Momoshiki would have used Boruto to take out Boruto's father, meaning that in another sense, Boruto would have been responsible for his father's death. This goes to show you how dangerous it is whenever BoruShiki appears, and that Momoshiki should never be given a chance to gain control over Boruto. A lot of things would have never happened if Momoshiki had never taken control of Boruto. Stuff like Kawaki killing Boruto, and even Kawaki activating Omnipotence with Ada. Kawaki was only able to do that because Momoshiki took over Boruto's body and gave Kawaki the opportunity to escape, when Team 7 and Sasuke had stopped Kawaki from moving. Momoshiki's interference was one of the biggest factors that led to Kawaki activating Omnipotence and switching places with Boruto. This is why Boruto cannot allow Momoshiki to take over control again, even if it means running away from Kawaki. The threat of Momoshiki has the potential to be equal to or even bigger than the threat of the Shinju, especially with how powerful Boruto has become in his base form. In the eventuality that Momoshiki did take over control of Boruto, the first thing that he would do is get rid of every obstacle that would prevent him from reaching his objective. We have no idea how strong Momoshiki's spirit has gotten and how long that would allow him to take control over Boruto for. So Momoshiki would want to maximize the time that he has control over Boruto, and try to get rid of anyone that can try and reawaken Boruto's consciousness. The first target on that list is Sarada Uchiha. She has the closest connection to Boruto and would be the one to figure out how to get Boruto to regain control over his body. The next target would be Himawari, Boruto's younger sister, which is self-explanatory, not to mention that he can get to Naruto and Hinata as they are sealed away. After those people, Momoshiki will go after Kashin Koji and Sasuke. He knows that Boruto has been working with Kashin Koji and that Sasuke is trapped in a clockworm tree. He has knowledge of those two things because his thoughts and Boruto's thoughts have been overlapping. Once Momoshiki is done getting rid of those people, Momoshiki would then destroy the entire village of Konoha. There would be no one left that is related to Boruto. Momoshiki would have nothing standing in his way. Those are just some of the things that can happen if Momoshiki was to reawaken. That is probably why Kashin Koji was training Boruto on how to control the power of his karma seal. Kashin Koji was a Kara inner. That means he could have also been part of overseeing Kawaki's karma seal training. It would make sense for Boruto to team up with Kashin Koji for this exact purpose. Koji has more knowledge about the karma more than anyone, except for Amado. The two of them need to make sure that Boruto never loses control. And the fact that it was hinted that Boruto and Koji might be working with Orochimaru, because we saw them in what seems like Orochimaru's hideout. They will be more than capable of preventing the threat of Momoshiki. The two of them working with Orochimaru might have happened because Kashin Koji went to Orochimaru when he disappeared in his toad after his fight with Ishiki. Kashin Koji had sustained a lot of damage and he was near death and needed urgent medical attention, and there was no way he was going to ask Amado for some assistance. Not that Amado would have agreed in the first place. As a scientific ninja tool and a clone of Jiraiya Sensei, he would need a scientist that is familiar with those aspects of himself. Orochimaru being a scientist that has experimented on a lot of shinobi and has created artificial beings like Mitsuki. That makes Orochimaru one of the only people with possibly enough scientific knowledge to do something about Kashin Koji's injuries. Orochimaru being a scientist means that he might also believe in the same philosophy as Amado, that he should always rely on the physical evidence instead of his own memories. That is how he might have not considered Boruto as an enemy and accepted the idea of associating with Boruto. Not to mention that Orochimaru also has backup data in his laboratory that has all of Mitsuki's memories. That is one of the things that will act as the physical evidence that Orochimaru will decide to believe in, and that is why he chose to associate with Boruto and Kashin Koji, and continue working with them without making it known to Mitsuki. The 9th chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex left us with a lot of questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Kishimoto has in store for us with the next chapter, especially with this possibility that Orochimaru will be making his first appearance in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex.